Hariharan. Ma'am is the founder of Rajeshwari Associates, and Miss Sawat Khurana. She's an advocate at Delhi High Court. Now, I would like to ask Miss Meghrathi ma'am to deliver the welcome address. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Tushar. I welcome our esteemed speakers today. The topic for the theme for this year's IP Day is Women in IP. WIPO has specifically picked up this theme to honor, of course, the women creators. We had Dr. G.R. Raghavendra today in our inaugural session, and he was highlighting how only 18% of the patents which are being filed are by women. And he highlighted the need that this number should go up. We organized this session not only to talk about women innovators, but to talk about women who are in IP in the legal fraternity. This is not a very technical session, but I would request our speakers to share their journey throughout and what it has been like. There are many students who would be listening online and on live. It will be an inspiration for them. Thank you so much. Over to you, Tushar.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Miss Rajeshwari ma'am to enlighten us about the concerned topic.
Thank you, Tushar. Thank you so much for inviting me here for sharing my thoughts on women and IP. I know this is the theme for this year and very relevant and very important theme because we are at a cusp, where we are trying to make that transition, where the government as well as the whole country is trying to make that transition. And therefore, this is a very ideal time for me for this kind of a topic. Women as such in our society have always had a very high position. Somewhere down the line is where we seem to have, missed the bus and lost the track, and where we now see atrocities on women. Of course, this is one part of the society that has always remained as such. But women, if you just take a few steps back, women have been very, very powerful in the past, especially in the Ramayana, in the Treta Yuga and all that. It will be quite surprising for you to know that Sita had the occasion once to perform the last rituals, the Shraddha for Dasharatha. Normally, the Shraddha is performed by the male person in the house. It's never the female. They are, in fact, told that you can't perform the Shraddha, you cannot perform the last rituals and all that. So there was a time when Ram as well as Lakshman on that particular day had gone to fetch the flowers as well as the wood and the fruits. And the Brahmins had come home because there was a ritual that, you must call the Brahmins and you must feed them on the day of the Shraddha. So the Brahmins had come home. So in those days, since they were in the forest, they could only get fruits. So they got the fruits. She quickly went outside. She got some fruits, whatsoever was available. She kept them all ready. And she offered it to the Brahmins. She told them that, now Ram and Lakshman are both not here. They've gone to the forest. They've gone to fetch the fruits. They've gone to fetch the other things. So therefore, I'm unable to do anything else but just offer you this. And so you please take it. Then she also knew that probably this Ram and Lakshman will probably not even believe that I had actually done the final rituals. So what she did was, there was the banyan tree, then there was the river, there was a river, and then there was a tulsi plant. So she told them that you are the witness, and in your presence, I am doing this final, the Shraddha in your presence. So when Ram and Lakshman will come, so please tell them that yes, I did complete the rituals, because once the Shraddha has been done, you can't do it again. Then eventually, after the Brahmins went, Ram and Lakshman came, and she asked the banyan tree. She asked first that river, please go and please tell Ram and Lakshman that I actually completed the Shraddha and they don't need to do it again. The river said, look here, I was just flowing down. I don't know what happened. Time passed and I was actually not looking that side. Then came the Tulsi plant. She asked the Tulsi plant, you must say something. It's actually correct that I actually did the final Shraddh. Why don't you please, you act as a witness and tell the truth. The Tulsi plant said, no, I have also not seen. I don't know. I was looking the other way. Then ultimately she asked the banyan tree. The banyan tree said, yes, I actually saw her doing the final rites. She's the one who did the Shraddh. So you please don't do it again. And that is why even till today, in Gaya and so many other places, you will actually find the banyan tree, and it is under the banyan tree that you can do your Shraddh, you can keep the pind and all that stuff. So she blessed the banyan tree, and that's how you can do. So I'm just saying that things that were meant, the domains that were actually meant only for the women, for the men, were in the past also performed by the women. So women did have several rights in the society. And somehow, somewhere down the line, we seem to have lost that track. Fast forward us few years down the line, and you will find that there are so many women inventors and women who actually came up with inventions. Just to name a few, on the top of the head, you will have Marie Curie, the person who invented iridium and all. And then you also have various other inventors, including the one who invented the wireless technology. Even that is a woman. So there are several inventors that have come, on the way. And there's no shortage of such women around. And if you look around, you have in India, so many GIs have been registered, geographical indications. And if you look into it very carefully, all of these geographical indications, more than 50% of that is actually the art which is practiced by women. The artisans are women. Of course, it's the society, the development commissioner, or someone who has got it registered. But the actual artisans, for example, behind the GI, behind that particular product, is the woman. Now, if you talk about Darjeeling tea, the women, the tea picker, it's the lady tea picker. The logo is the lady tea picker logo. So women have been very active in IP. Now, if you talk about Nagaland, you have that shawl, specific shawl. The GI is registered in favor of the Women's Welfare Society. The people who make that shawl are the women. So if you look around, it is the women who are there everywhere, very, very conspicuous. It's just that, we somehow, we somehow, they seem to be relegated to the background, or somehow we don't see them everywhere. If you just go to a particular place, like a court, you go to a district court, a large section of the district court will be dominated by men. And there will be a section, of course, there are many women lawyers also. I'm not saying there are none. There are, but the percentage is less. We need to have a greater representation. Now, if you come back, if you take, if I talk about my journey in particular, my journey was very humble. If you start from the beginning, I enrolled as a lawyer, and I started off with civil litigation. And I was told that you please don't go for criminal litigation because that's very cumbersome. It's very tiresome. It's a very different kind of paradigm altogether. So criminal litigation, criminal kind of life is really not meant for you. But then I was quite curious to understand, like, what is this law all about? So therefore, I did some work on that as well. So my first was one of the bail applications. And there was this young man who came with a bail application. It was for a prostitute. And I had to take a bail application because there was some kind of a minor offense. And I had to file the bail application. And, one of the people who were in her team who coordinated the entire bail application with me. We filed the bail application. And our matter was about to come up. And I heard this lady, talking to her colleagues, her friends, that, did you just get a woman lawyer out of all these lawyers, 10,000 lawyers in the entire bar? Why did you go to a woman lawyer? What will she do here? So that was the echo, that was the voice I heard. I didn't bother much about it. I said, all right, let her say whatever she says. Let me do my thing. We filed the bail application, we argued that matter, and ultimately we got the bail also. It's a minor offense, it was a bailable offense. We got the bail. But I'm just highlighting this. This remained in my mind because not for any other reason, but being a woman, she didn't think that another woman will also be able to, actually get the bail for her. She thought, oh, this criminal law is actually done only by men. So it was very surprising for her. Of course, when she got the bail, she was very happy. And then she said, okay, and, she went her way. But that's the perception. So that was the perception I'm talking about 25 years ago. And I don't think much of it has changed even today, because even today there are so many clients who come to us and they ask us, are you sure you'll be able to handle this? Are you sure this is okay with you? Are you sure this is apt for you? Are you sure you're going to be able to do this? So you get these kind of questions, all the time. Similarly, there was a time when we had gone to Malaysia, for a hearing. And then there was a conference also, which was all organized in Malaysia. And in that, we found that there were many women who were participating in that workshop. And they were highlighting their, difficulties. And then they were talking about IP, they were talking about various laws, etc. During the break, is the Malaysian woman. She gets a call from her husband, who is in the US. And he is asking her, where have you kept the towel? It's a very funny question to ask in the middle of a conference, but it's a very funny thing. And I said, why is he asking you these things? I mean, he should know about it. And I thought, Malaysia and all of you countries are pretty advanced. I thought all these things happen only in India. So she said, no, it's not so. This happens all over the world. People just keep thinking that, women in the house should know everything. So a person in US will call up and then he'll ask, where's the towel? So it happens everywhere. So today also, as I'm saying, the perception which people hold that women really, they don't really trust that the woman will be able to do it. But yes, so there's an element of doubt, but ultimately when they deliver the goods beyond a point, then they do trust. Clients do, I must say that, they do respect and they do trust, and they do hand over their brief, and they, conduct the case, and we do successfully everything. I'll talk about also the compulsory license case, because that was a case, of course, it was a case where we won the first compulsory license. We fought for it. But one of the things that happened in that case was quite amusing, because in that case, when we were arguing, that was a case, just to give you a brief idea, that was a case where Bayer was having a drug which was costing 3 lakhs. Our client was trying to offer it for 8,000 rupees. It was for liver and kidney cancer. So we were trying to help patients by putting up a drug which is at a lower cost. And this was a case where it was a straight case where compulsory license was supposed to be granted, because they were not, the patent owner was not even selling that product in India. They were selling it outside India, and in India they had very little sales. So the case was first filed before the patent office, and thereafter, when the patent office granted the compulsory license after a thorough hearing, it went to the IPAB, and then after the IPAB, it went to the High Court, and from the High Court, it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court also affirmed the grant of the compulsory license. But during this entire journey, I had a number of experiences which are amusing. Some of them are amusing and some of them are really enriching because they are challenges which help us to grow. In one such instance, one of the hearings, one of the controllers, they were asking me this question. You are doing these cases for this company who is putting up this drug for at a lower price, and you are against this kind of a big multinational company. Don't you think you are scared of this big multinational? I said, no, I'm not scared. Where is the reason to be scared? I have it's a very good case to argue, and I am arguing that case. So he was quite surprised. And of course, we argued the case and we won that case. So this is the kind of perception that people sometimes have. Sometimes they have an element of doubt. But otherwise, I would say that today is a situation where people have actually tried to change their perception. And people are in a position where women are trying to break various class barriers. There are women who have, you have a huge squad of women who ride a bike. There's a squad of women who are trying to go and trying to capture the Himalayas, who are trying to reach new heights. There are women mountaineers. There are women in the army. There are women in the Air Force, something that could never have been thought of. Women pilots have been here for quite some time now. And so women have invaded almost every force. I mean, in every field there you can find women. In engineering colleges in those days, many years ago, you would find one woman among about 100 boys. You will find one or two women. Rather, you will actually have none, but you'll have probably one or maybe two. But today you may have a sizable number. You will still not have 100 women, but surely you will have a sizable number, which is a very great achievement. From the time when women used to find it difficult to go to colleges, difficult to go to school, and that itself was a barrier for them to come into the different forces, for them to participate equally in the society, is a great step, a great achievement. I can also talk about some instances like where we used to have a raid. We had one instance where we had to do a raid in a far and remote area. And it was an area in between Bihar and Bihar area, where we were to where it was not supposed to be very, very safe in that way. So the order was that we should go and not only conduct the raid, we should also take the help of the police. Now, in those areas, if you do take the help of the police, I would say that the police are not very supportive. Sometimes they are themselves very scared of the goons. They are quite they are not very forthcoming. They are not very helpful in many cases. So in that case where I went for the raid, they are very hesitant. You see, the police are quite hesitant. So I went for the raid, and I was accompanied by the company people, who was the owner of the copyright in that work. This was for some cassettes. So there was an infringing copy. It was a case of copyright infringement. So we had to go and conduct a raid. And in that raid, we had to seize all the cassettes which were being held by the defendant. And we were supposed to go unarmed, obviously. We went with the local commissioner, which was appointed by the High Court. All of us went there, and I was the only woman in the entire gang, because the company people, there were 3 of them, and then you had the local commissioner who was also a man. So all of us were there, and we went to that particular place. The defendant came out and he said, "Now what do you want?" He said, "We want to conduct the raid. We have the order of the court." He said, "Nothing doing. You can't conduct any such raid. If you are really serious about your life, you should go away." The men in my team, they told me, Madam, now we should go, we should pack up and go. If we are really, some people who want to live, then we should go. This raid can come some other day. We will go and tell the court that we could not conduct the raid. We will do anything. But we want to save our lives. We want to go away. I said, nothing doing. We are going to conduct the raid. And we shall conduct the raid, and today. And I told these people, I am here to conduct the raid. I am here to do my duty. You shall not stand in my way. And in case you do come and you stand in my way, and if you are going to open fire, or you're going to, you're going to do any act of violence, it's going to be meted with very serious consequences. I know how to handle arms. I also have a pistol. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be difficult for me to open fire, and you will also face consequences. So you please allow me to conduct my raid. Let me do my work, and you can just sit down in that corner. Nothing will happen to you. I also said many other things to him. Ultimately, we conducted the raid in that place. He sat quietly in that place. I absolutely shouted him down. I must say that. He sat down in that place. He allowed us to conduct the raid. And all of us came out of that place without a scratch on ourselves. So according to me, when I look back in my, in my career, if I look back, this was one of the instances that I would really remember, because going to that place itself was an achievement. And speaking to those to those defendants who are not very civilized, so to put it lightly, and to deal with them and then to get the raid done was a very big achievement. And that too, this is a story of about 15, 17 years ago, when Bihar was today we have Bihar, which is in a much better position. But in those days, Bihar was not in this position. It was slightly worse. So going there was a very big achievement. And conducting the raid was even a very big achievement by itself. So as I'm saying, women have broken several barriers and come up to the front. And women are now marching ahead, taking steps one by one, breaking various glass barriers. And I think so the future for women is very bright, because not only this government, but you also have the courts and every other place. They are giving a lot of weightage to women. There is a thought process which has percolated in the society for inclusion of women in the entire scheme of things. And this is it's a new era which has in which women can flourish. So therefore, this is a new era in which we are going to see a lot of contribution by women. We are going to see in the future a number of perhaps innovations which are going to come from women, because now the government has started, and they are encouraging women to file their inventions. We used to have women inventors, but they used to remain in the background. But I guess now with the schemes that have been started by the government, with the kind of encouragement which is given by the government, and also by looking at the various peers, the other people who are succeeding, it gives an inspiration for other women to start to march forward and take huge strides, not small steps, but huge strides. So as a society, we not only we advance, but we grow, and we grow not in small steps, but in leaps and bounds. It's only when women will start contributing to the growth of the society that the society by itself will make greater progress. Women as such hold, you always say that the woman is the one who holds the family together. So it's the collective consciousness of the women who will get together in the entire society who will hold the entire society together and help it to grow. It is women who will get together and the crime will come down. The crimes that we see today with regard to molestation, so on and so forth, all of that will come down if the women themselves are able to educate other people, educate their family, educate the male members in their family as to how they are supposed to behave. It is only now that we are finding that the crime rate in these areas has increased. Just imagine about 70-80 years ago, how many times did we encounter these kind of things in the newspapers, that there has been a molestation, that there has been rape or anything. The women, of course, did not come out so much at that time, about 100 years ago. But at the same time, the men were always the men. So I'm not trying to create a divide between men and women, but at the same time, I'm just trying to say that it's the education, it is the inculcation of various values that are given by the women to the family, to the society, that helps the society to grow. And therefore, with this new thought, with the new encouragement which is given by the government, which is given by the society at large, I think women will make new strides, and we'll have a future where we will have a greater role for women to play. And I wish us all the best in that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite our second speaker, Sogat ma'am, to put up her views.
Hi, Tushar. Hi, Mehak. Thank you for having me here. And it is indeed a pleasure to be a part of a group of people who I see are mostly women. So it is, of course, wonderful to be joining a team like that. As a background, before I actually went independent, I started off my career in intellectual property, being a very, very passionate enthusiast in the field. And I joined Anand and Anand, which was my first break, and I worked with them for a substantial period of time. And then I moved on to another law firm called Rahul Chaudhary and Partners, which was formerly known as Lal Lahiri Salhotra, who would know the organization as such. And in my span of the 6.5, 7 years that I have been associated with the firms, with the biggest names in the industry, and having seen a particular typical kind of manner of working, I would say, while not dominant in general, we all know that the legal fraternity is quite patriarchal as it may be. But with women who are spearheaded in the direction of where they want to take their careers today, how they want to be seen, the visibility that all of them want, it's not so much about whether it is a woman or whether it is, I may put it as an IP enthusiast, a person who is passionate about what they're really doing. As far as I see it, and from the side that I saw it even in law school and when I graduated, for me, it was not about the fact that maybe I would have to compete with a lot of men in the industry or a lot of boys of my own group who I'd be competing with when I'm getting through a firm. But it was more about the fact that is my knowledge enough, or do I have to buck up when it comes to the fact that do I know enough in the line that I'm trying to get into? Yes, of course, I will never deny, and I still don't, that there are certain advantages which maybe men do hold when it comes to a career like law in general. But when I talk about intellectual property, I feel the line is so creative in its own self that the women automatically ought to have an edge here. The fact that it is creative, the fact that there is a skill of inventorship, there is a skill of novelty, there is an artistic line to it. As an individual, personally also feel that women automatically have these skills innate in them, which only need to be honed and yes, maybe given a legal angle to it yet. And I will not take away that I have been mentored in my duration with law firms by women only. My first senior in my line was Vaishali Mittal, who's currently the litigation strategist at Anand and Anand. And when I moved on to my second firm, it was Miss Anuradha Salotra, who is again another woman in the industry. For the last 35 years, she's been practicing IP. So for me to say that women don't exist or there is no parity in the industry, it would be wrong. But yes, I will not turn a blind eye to the fact that there do exist concerns, there do exist situations where organizations tend to take a more, I would say, a softer edge when it comes to maybe hiring a boy or hiring a man for a role. Specifically, like ma'am mentioned, for raids, you have to go in a particular situation where you're meeting people of a particular type, and there are policemen that you have to deal with. And of course, organizations do consider that it will be easier for men to handle a role like that, and why not a woman? And I have also, in my experience, faced situations where I have been held back from going to a raid merely because, of course, I am a woman, and my going may either not be very safe or may lead to a situation which I may not be able to handle. Not that it shows poorly on any of the skills that I have or I do not have, but yes, there is a stereotypical mindset associated with certain kinds of profiles, which even in general, a lot of people see, which is beyond just, let's say, a firm's concept or an individual concept. The police also would possibly not take me as seriously as they would take a man. But it would be criminal to say that I am not inspired by the women in the industry, or the fact that from my mother, who's been in the line and who has always worked consistently, from literally having seniors and models and mentors who've been women and who have handled their work, their lives, their families, marriages, everything together, and still held fort and been strong. For me, it is the fact that today, as much as I would say there is a lot of exposure that women are automatically being given, we all do know as a fact, as a rule, that we tend to put double the effort that men do. Maybe as a matter of work, or how we've all been brought up in an Indian society. We do know that it is always more difficult for a woman to come out in the open and take on challenges head on, because they're either bridled by the families, or they're told that they're particularly trying to come out of a cocoon. They don't know they have to face a lot of criticism on a lot of aspects which may or may not really be their forte. But yes, today I feel that when I am in a zone, when I'm trying to work independently, I am going all out in the business. I do know it takes a lot of convincing, but yes, of course, it is worth it. It is always fruitful, because you do know that people tend to respect you a lot more when they know that you can handle situations much better than any of your competitors, any of your peers. They're also willing today to give you a lot more work, to let you handle situations much more, on a holistic level, not give you like assignments which are just part-time or which may be very clerical at its base, but they're willing to deploy a lot of resources on women-led organizations. In fact, to name a few, all of us in the fraternity, or those who are involved in intellectual property, or would notice there are organizations which are either being led by women or are completely women oriented at this point in time. For example, I would say Rajeshwari ma'am only for that example. She is leading an organization. We have, of course, Priyanka Khemani, who is running a complete woman-led organization in Mumbai. We have Shweta Shri Majumdar ma'am, who's also in Delhi running an organization which is mostly women. So of course we have so many of them. We do have the biggest role model for ourselves as budding lawyers, that we see Justice Pratibha Singh, who's been elevated from the bar to the bench. And today we see that it is not just the fact that women are there in the line, but women are there making substantial amount of impressions, and those of such where we know that they're able to, it's a coup. It's a feat that all of us are really achieving at this point in time. With respect to, of course, the fact that I would say, touching on the topic of, the fact that women in IP is an aspect which is to be dealt with more delicately and more intensely, maybe also more fiercely to some extent. We do know for a fact that the WIPO, of course, has taken like an assessment, and they anticipate that the parity cannot be taken up till 2064 if the kind of filings that we're kind of right now at the scale of where women entrepreneurs are concerned, we won't be reaching anywhere close to a gender parity till 2064. But nevertheless, I also see that there are, if you read up, there'd be also information which says that there are draft rules which India is getting, of course, where 80% reduction in fee when it comes to women entrepreneurs wanting to apply for patents. There's of course a substantial amount of there's also expedited processes for women who want to apply and who are wanting to be given. So of course, as a country, as an organization, as we feel as a community, intellectual property is definitely at this point in time developing, not only in terms of its own niche field that it is, but also with the fact that it is giving a lot of encouragement to a lot of women to be able to come out to the fore, to be able to come, make those situations happen, achieve their work-life balances if there exist any. And then of course also trying to figure their way out, steer it in the, in the dominated society that it continues to be. But yes, of course, I feel that in general, it's also about the tenacity that you have as an individual as opposed to you being a woman or a man. That is important at this time. And there's a lot of scope, there's a lot of opportunities, the avenues are immense. You go talk to any corporate unit, you to go talk to any business unit, there are so many women out there who are taking lead. Most of general councils, I'm sure, when the students that are participating right now, whenever you go out in the in the market, whenever you guys are going, it is obviously going to be a situation where you're going to be meeting so many women. So at this point, I feel that it is, yes, of course, a lot of encouragement that we need, not only from the men folk who are already practicing, but also from the women folk already in the line, to of course acknowledge and to push through a lot of other girls, a lot of young budding lawyers, women in the industry already doing wonderful jobs, already really achieving and accomplishing their tasks, as well as trying to build like certain areas for particularly women, giving them a lot of opportunity to come out, practice, making court procedures obviously accessible, which they already are, but of course allowing maybe younger lawyers also to participate as much as they can in processes. But yeah, that's all about it. I feel in general, it is just the fact that there are a lot of opportunities. We are all there right now in the industry, working our way through, and we see, of course, it's up for challenges. The line is such that it is up for challenges, but there's nothing that stops any woman out there to do it as long as she's in her zone and she knows, because the tenacity that you have is something that can't be taken away, whether whether it's a male dominated or not so much of a male dominated society anymore. Tushar, I'd put it over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to thank both of our speakers. Gave their valuable time for this session. It was a very inspiring and very good session. I think we would all have learned a lot from both our speakers. Now, I would keep open the chat box for the participants to ask questions to our speakers if they have any. The participants can send the questions in the chat box. Okay, so I think there's no questions from the participants, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining the session and for your valuable time.
Thank you so much.
Like, you are a inspiration for all of us, not only for the women, but for men too.
No, thank you. Thank you. I think we're all here to support each other in the industry. It's not about who we are, really. I don't think gender is a barrier that we should actually now consider this age in this era. It's about now really just acknowledging talent and the skill that we all have and that we all possess.
Yes, exactly, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Wonderful joining all of you. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.